Imagine vanishing without a trace in the middle of a major city, surrounded by security cameras, only to be found days later, hidden in plain sight inside a government parking garage. This was the terrifying reality for a 25-year-old woman whose night out ended in an unimaginable nightmare. Welcome to Hidden Reality. Today, we are unraveling the tragic and deeply unsettling disappearance of Mitchell Dang. Let's uncover the truth.
Just hours before she vanished, everything was perfect. It was August 26, 2023. Mitchell was recording a vlog in her family's home in Norcross, Georgia. She was showing off her outfit, glowing with excitement. She was heading to an Alley Cat house and techno music event in downtown Atlanta. She looked right into the camera and said she was going to dance her heart away. It is a haunting, innocent moment that stands in chilling contrast to the darkness that was waiting for her.
So how does a night of dancing end in an undiscovered tragedy? Mitchell went to the club, but she never made it home. As an independent adult, her tight-knit family initially thought she might have just crashed with friends, but as hours bled into days with zero contact, that comfort shattered into sheer panic. A young woman doesn't just evaporate from a bustling city center. Something was very, very wrong. Part 1. The Discovery. Beneath Level 1A. 4 agonizing days passed. It is now Wednesday morning, August 30th. An employee is cleaning a parking garage directly across from the Fulton County Courthouse. Suddenly, an overpowering scent stops him in his tracks.
He moved toward a dark, narrow space beneath a nearby stairwell. What he found was horrifying. It was a concealed scene. The body of a young woman had been forced deep under the stairs, out of immediate sight. Part of her head was covered with newspaper, and her clothing had been stripped away. What makes this absolutely terrifying is the staggering security failure. Staff claimed this exact stairwell had been checked the night before. Yet the scene proved she had been lying there, undiscovered for days.
Police had 2 massive questions. Who was she? And how did a killer pull this off in a heavily monitored government building? The only clue was still attached to her arm. A paper wristband from the Alley Cat music event. That single piece of paper was the thread detectives pulled to unravel the entire mystery. They cross-referenced the venue and missing persons reports, finally identifying the victim. It was 25-year-old Mitchell Dang. The timeline of those missing days is agonizing. Saturday night, she was full of life, vlogging and heading to the club. From Sunday to Tuesday, her parents and 2 sisters were living a waking nightmare. Desperate calls, unread messages, total silence. Then, Wednesday morning brought the devastating discovery in the garage. But finding Mitchell didn't explain how she got there. The crime scene held a massive, glaring inconsistency. Part 2. Retracing Mitchell's steps. The missing pieces. Detectives quickly realized something was entirely wrong with the location. Mitchell's car was nowhere inside that courthouse parking garage. She had absolutely no logical reason to be in that building. And her car wasn't the only thing missing. The scene was stripped clean. Her mobile phone, her house and car keys, her wallet, her credit card, and her clothing were all gone. This wasn't just a crime scene beneath the stairs anymore. It was a city-wide manhunt. Detectives had to turn to Atlanta's vast network of digital eyes. They needed to find out who lured her to a garage she didn't park in. The security footage they found was terrifying. It showed a cold, calculated, predatory progression. Outside the venue, Mitchell had become separated from her friends and looked unsteady. A stranger approached her. At first, Mitchell told him to get away. She refused his help, but the suspect was relentless. He persisted, playing the role of a helpful stranger until she finally let her guard down. That was all it took for him to take physical control of her, keys and her phone. He completely isolated her. This map shows the exact moment the trap closed. On the left was Mitchell's intended path toward the safety of the public transit system. But on the right, we see what actually happened. Once the suspect had her phone and keys, he orchestrated a forced diversion. He led her away from the lights, away from the transit station, and guided her directly into the isolated courthouse parking garage. Cameras watched them enter the stairwell. Mitchell never walked out. Eventually, the camera caught the stranger emerging from the stairwell alone. He started walking away. But then, the footage captured a bizarre, chilling anomaly. The man stopped, he turned around, and he walked right back into the stairwell where he had just left his victim. He stayed briefly, then left again. Why would a killer deliberately walk back into a fresh crime scene? It was a terrifying open loop that investigators desperately needed to close. Part 3. Tracking a digital trail. Unmasking the suspect. First, they had to hunt him down. A single camera is never the whole story. Detectives stitched together a massive digital web, pulling footage from the garage, street corners, local businesses, and transit stations to track his escape route. This is how modern manhunts are won. They use transit cameras to capture his physical profile and a highly unique way he walked. They tracked his location using Mitchell's stolen credit card, discovering where he threw away her damaged phone and clothes. Finally, they captured a clear image and released it to the public. The break came from his own family. His grandmother recognized his body shape and that distinct walk. She gave police his name, Jacovius Michael Arnold. On September 22nd, nearly a month after Mitchell was found, police moved in. They tracked Arnold to an animal services facility in DeKalb County. The moment officers ordered him to the ground, his tough exterior vanished. He started apologizing profusely. He called himself a horrible person, admitted he needed to go away for a long time, and begged to speak to his girlfriend. He knew exactly why the police were there. Part 4. A chilling confession, closing the loop. Inside the interrogation room, investigators finally got their answers. Arnold laid out a chillingly complete confession. He confirmed what the cameras showed. He targeted her because she was vulnerable, played the Good Samaritan, stole her belongings, and forced her into the dark stairwell. But what about that bizarre moment on the security footage? Why did he walk away and then return to the body? Detectives finally asked him. His answer was sickeningly casual. He went back because he realized he had dropped his sunglasses, and while he was retrieving them, he took the time to push Mitchell deeper under the stairs and cover her face with a newspaper. It was a detail of absolute, cold-blooded callousness. Then the interrogation took an even darker turn. Arnold confessed that Mitchell was not his first victim. He admitted to using this exact same helpful stranger routine to target 2 other women in the past. One managed to escape using mace, the other he claimed to have assaulted and left in the woods. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a highly practiced, predatory hunting tactic. Part 5. A family's tragic loss, remembering Mitchell. While the killer was eventually sentenced to life in prison, true justice can never really restore what was stolen. We have to look past the evidence and remember the human cost. Mitchell was a beloved middle sister. She was a role model, the person her family turned to for advice and light. Her family was utterly shattered. Following Buddhist tradition, they maintained a sacred shrine in their home for 49 days. The grief was so crushing that her parents and sisters couldn't bear to sleep in separate rooms. They slept together on the family room floor every single night, just trying to survive the agonizing silence of a home without Mitchell. Which brings us to a deeply unsettling reality. Mitchell's tragedy happened in the very heart of downtown Atlanta. She was surrounded by transit hubs, security cameras, and a government courthouse. Yet a predator manipulated all of it, and a victim lay hidden in a monitored stairwell for 4 days. It begs the question, how safe are our public spaces when a nightmare can hide in plain sight? We must stay vigilant and look out for one another. If you enjoy uncovering hidden truths, subscribe to Hidden Reality for more incredible true stories and hidden realities from around the world.